What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Today, we've got another live fantasy football mock draft for you back on FantasyPros with a 12-team full PPR mock where we'll be selecting first overall, so should be pretty interesting. Our roster, 1 quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then 5 bench spots. But that's pretty much it. So let's kick it off. And while we wait for this thing to load, a quick reminder, if you enjoy, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. Let us hear in the comment section your thoughts along with any other questions you guys might have. We will do our best to answer them all. But with that being said, let's get into it. And I'm going to, announce this right away. This one is for all of you guys that are the believers, wide receiver, early, first overall even in this year's first round. So this one goes out to you guys. I might disagree with that, but I know a lot of you will be doing this. So let's put ourselves in this situation and then build out the rest of the roster to the best of our abilities. And if you're going wide receiver first overall in full PPR, it's got to be Justin Jefferson. He's going to get more receptions than a Jamar Chase. He's healthier than a Cooper Kupp. So, it's Justin Jefferson. But, I mean, the most interesting part is what the hell we do in the second round, right? And let's figure it out right now. Let's figure it out. And I'm not going to lie to you. We're going to have an interesting choice here to make. But let's check out what happened in the first and second rounds to begin with. So Christian McCaffrey after JJ sure makes a lot of sense. Then Jamar, Tyreek. I don't like Tyreek going that early. I'd be taking Austin Eckler. Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 106. I know the love for Amon-Ra has kind of been going up and up and up as of late, but I wouldn't draft him ahead of Cooper Kupp. I wouldn't draft him, ahead of Devontae Adams or CeeDee Lamb, Stephon Diggs. It'd be like right around there, but not ahead of them. Then Tony Pollard at the 108. Again, there's other guys here. Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson. I would be drafting ahead of Tony Pollard, Nick Chubb as well. But it's one of those situations where FantasyPros actually I think does a pretty good job of accounting for variability. It's a composite of multiple platforms and expert rankings on those platforms. So this does happen. It has happened before. Tony Pollard goes to the 108. Kelsey at the 109. Diggs, A.J. Brown. I don't like A.J. Brown going that early. I've said that before. I think he's a more standard-suited wide receiver. I freaking love Saquon Barkley and Bijan Robinson as your 2 running backs. That's insane that that combo is possible here with the last pick, but as insane as it is, if people go bonkers on the pass catchers in the first round, it's not out of the realm of possibility. Then Devontae Adams, CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson. So a ton of wide receivers in the second round, right? You see Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, T. Higgins, Nick Chubb, Mark Andrews. I think that's way too early for Mark Andrews. And then, we have Patrick Mahomes and Derrick Henry. So I say this all the time. I don't care if it's a 10-team league, a 12-team league, but especially in a 12-team league, I would not be drafting a quarterback that early. The positional advantages here don't mean as much. Your roster isn't going to be as deep as it would in a 10 or 12-team league. So in a 10-team league, so keep that in mind. But folks, we went Justin Jefferson. And looking at the cheat sheet, notice the names that are still available. Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs. I recently did this in one of my previous mock drafts, but I think that might have been a 10-teamer. And then there we started with Christian McCaffrey. Here we started with Justin Jefferson. So the need for running back is even higher. Now, I think at this point in time, you got to roll the dice. And Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, I've said this before. I do think that something will get resolved. I think the situation for Josh Jacobs is easier to get resolved. Jonathan Taylor might take a little bit longer, but these guys are incentivized to play, folks. They are incentivized to play. And especially, look, if it's in the first round, I'm going to be passing on them. But late second round, especially if you've started Justin Jefferson, I can't pass up on Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs. I'm going for the upside here. Everything else be damned. I think sometimes, I've said this before, you got to know when to take a risk. I think this is a risk worth taking. So Jonathan Taylor, obviously the only reason they're available is because people are worried about their, contract situations. This is how we can take advantage of the situation. So we went with Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs, Justin Jefferson. That's pretty crazy because about a month ago, all these guys were first round selections. They really, really were. So the fact that we have all three, pretty crazy. But, risk it for the biscuit, I guess, right? Looking at the draft board, so after we went that combo, Ramondre Stevenson, Devonta Smith, Jahmyr Gibbs, Josh Allen, Najee Harris, Breece Hall, Keenan Allen. I like to see Keenan Allen get some love when healthy. He's a stud. Jalen Hurts. So, again, this is why I always say don't be the first one to select one of those top-tier quarterbacks. He goes almost a round later than Patrick Mahomes, then Mixon, ETN, DK Metcalf, Lamar Jackson, 2 quarterbacks in the 4th. I don't like that. Calvin Ridley, Drake London, Amari Cooper. Calvin Ridley, yeah, I didn't expect him to fall to me. Aaron Jones, then DJ Moore, James Conner. Kind of was hoping James Conner would fall to me, not going to lie. Debo Samuel, Joe Burrow, TJ Hawkinson, and George Kittle. But something interesting is happening here, and I believe Miles Sanders is still available for us. And I got to go Miles Sanders here. There's some uncertainty at the running back position. So, whenever you do take the risk, I feel like I also preach this. If you take a risk at one position, make sure to back yourself up later on at that position. So don't just fly by the seat of your pants here at the running back position, because you got to prepare for anything. So we're going to go with Miles Sanders here as one of our selections. And then, we've got Justin Jefferson. We could potentially go with a tight end here, whether it's Darren Waller, whether it's, Goddard, Kyle Pitts. I think that tight end run is also going to start. Somebody like a Marquise Brown is also tempting here, but maybe he drops to us. I don't know. It's really kind of risky, but I definitely know one of our selections here is going to be Miles Sanders. So we've got three running backs that I really like, obviously assuming that they all play. Let's go with the positional advantage here at tight end, and then see what happens at wide receiver later on. So the question is, which one of these guys do we go with? I'm between Darren Waller and Kyle Pitts. Assuming they all stay healthy, people have been in love with Darren Waller as of late, but, I'm just not 100% sure. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. There's so many pass catchers there. I'd rather honestly go with Kyle Pitts, and let's see what happens. Let's see if we kind of pay the price for that, or if we made the right choice at the end of the day. So looking at the draft board, Marquise Brown was drafted here. I took the risk. It's okay. I think we've still got some good wide receiver options left. Terry McLaurin, Kenneth Walker, Marquise Brown, obviously, DeAndre Hopkins, Cam Akers, Justin Fields, Darren Waller, Alexander Madison, Justin Herbert, Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Dameon Pierce, Trevor Lawrence. So all the top quarterbacks are officially off the board. That's okay. There's a couple guys that I still like here. Later on, Chris Godwin, Deontay Johnson, DeAndre Swift, Goddard, Christian Watson, Kamara, Mike Williams, and Tyler Lockett. I don't know how Tyler Lockett was drafted ahead of the guy that I'm going to go with here, but Brendan Ayuk, I think, is a really, really good value piece, and I'm going to go with it. So let's add him to the squad. Now, I think right now, other guys that we could go with here, Christian Kirk, Michael Pittman, all solid choices. Running back Rachaad White ain't a bad choice either, especially with, what we're doing at the running back position. But I'm going to go with upside here. I'm going to go with the guy that I think is going to be the number one target for Anthony Richardson. I'm going to go with Michael Pittman. I think Calvin Ridley has kind of overtaken Christian Kirk. So I know we have Jonathan Taylor, but I think Michael Pittman is the best value. So we're going Michael Pittman, and then we're going to see what is available to us in these upcoming rounds, and see, if we made the right choices. I do believe I saw a little bit of a run on some running backs that I was hoping would fall to us. Obviously, Rachaad White wasn't going to be one of those guys, but I was hoping Samaje Perine could. I think Samaje Perine would have been an excellent backup for us considering our situation, but it is what it is. We're going to, draft elsewhere. James Cook, also somebody that I like, but otherwise Christian Kirk, Brendan Cooks, George Pickens, Pacheco, Juju, Jahan Dotson, Jordan Addison. Just pointing out some names that I like here in these couple of rounds. Looking at the cheat sheet as far as potential running backs, I don't really love any of these guys. I'm not going to lie to you. I think we can continue to load up on value for wide receivers. I like Elijah Moore. I think he's going to be the number 2 over there in Cleveland. And then the question is here, do we want to go upside? Michael Thomas potentially, hopefully stays healthy for a full season. So we're going to do that. And then I think we can finally now add our quarterback situation. Some people might be selecting a backup quarterback at this point in time. So I'll just go and get my guy. I am an Aaron Rodgers believer. I think he's going to bounce back. So we get Aaron Rodgers. And then, maybe we can get a backup tight end here to back up Kyle Pitts in case something happens. Let's look at the board as far as tight ends are concerned. So looking at these guys, I think that, right now, Gerald Everett is a nice choice. So is Greg Dulcich. I've been talking up Sam Laporta in Detroit. I think he could be the second leader in receptions on that team behind Amon-Ra. And I think once you get to this point where it's like right around the 15th best overall tight end, it's a crapshoot. So let's show Sam Laporta some love here. We're going to go with him, and then we're going to make one final selection afterwards. So we're going with Laporta, and then we're going to see what player we can go with here as far as, best available. I doubt it's going to be running back, maybe a wide receiver, maybe a backup quarterback. We'll see. Yeah, I don't really love the situation at running back. I'm looking at the wide receivers. I don't love these wide receivers either. I think I'm just going to go with, a quarterback here. And the quarterbacks I'm looking at, I think Anthony Richardson has already been drafted from what I can tell. So I'm just going to go with the highest ranked quarterback. I'm going to go with Tua as long as he can stay healthy. A lot of upside there. But I'm really curious to see our draft grade here. I think that it's going to be an interesting exercise. We get a C+ draft grade. So I think obviously that's kind of reflecting the recent ADP drops in Taylor and Josh Jacobs. But I'll say this, if Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs both play this season, like I think a lot of us still believe they will, folks, this ain't a C+ roster because it doesn't matter that we waited for the quarterback position. We're going to be just fine at quarterback. We've got a arguably top 5 tight end in Kyle Pitts. We've got Justin Jefferson, and then we loaded up on wide receiver depth on potential breakout guys like Ayuk, Elijah Moore, Michael Pittman. We've got Miles Sanders as kind of a depth piece to these running backs if something happens. Then we've also got high upside guys, like I said, in Thomas, Laporta to back up Kyle Pitts. I think this draft grade should be a little bit higher. The one difference I probably would have done, taking Marquise Brown instead of Kyle Pitts, I would have felt a little bit better about the squad, but, live and learn. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What are you guys going to do if you're faced with this decision in Jonathan Taylor and Josh Jacobs, along with any other questions you guys might have? If you enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe, give us a follow on Twitter at AllDayPigskin to continue interacting with us there. But in the meantime, we'll see you guys in future videos.